KVAQ-TV is brought to you in part by the Brownsville Society for Performing Arts.
Mira, que si soy cubano, claro que sí. Y dale de esa.
Coming up, an $18.4 million grant awarded to UTRGV aims to help aid cancer. We'll tell you more in minutes.
And a former Republican congresswoman visited the UTRGV Brownsville Campus. What she had to say.
Plus, 2 cases of mosquito-borne disease, West Nile virus, reported in Hidalgo County. What you need to know to prevent it. KVAQ-TV starts now.
Hey vaqueros, I'm Celine Bocanegra.
And I am Fernanda Gonzalez.
This is the 6th fall edition of KVAQ-TV.
Today is Monday, October 7th.
And at the top of the newscast,
UTRGV was awarded an $18.4 million grant to establish the Rio Grande Valley Center for Cancer Health Disparity. The center aims to research on cervical cancer, liver cancer, and socio-behavioral intervention strategies. Here is our reporter, Dathan Treviño, with the story.
During a UTRGV news conference, National Institutes of Health awarded the university a grant that aims to help aid cancer research in the Rio Grande Valley.
Today marks another significant achievement for our university and School of Medicine as we celebrate a major research award. I'm so delighted to announce that the National Institute of Health has awarded the UTRGV School of Medicine and University an $18 million grant to fund the Rio Grande Valley Center for Health Disparities Research Center.
Professor and director of the South Texas Center of Excellence for Cancer Research, Subhash Chauhan, says the 3 main projects the new center will cover are research on cervical cancer, liver cancer, and socio-behavioral intervention strategies. Dean of the UTRGV School of Medicine and Senior Vice President for UT Health RGV, Dr. Michael B. Hawker, says the new center will be one of the 24 centers in the United States and one of 4 in Texas. Dr. Hawker speaks on the practical functions of the new center.
This is really a significant milestone for us. It allows us to not just do research, but to expand our research portfolio from earlier prevention to cures, from bench research to translational and clinical research, where we'll actually start to change the lives of folks here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Texas 34th Congressional District Representative Vicente Gonzalez speaks on his support for the grant and why it is important to him.
It's an incredible project to do research, cancer research here in the Rio Grande Valley, and specifically in Latino communities like ours that have never been researched before, and try to figure out why we have a higher rate of liver cancer or stomach cancer or cervical cancer than the rest of the state and the rest of the country. So these are amazing investments that will be transformative, not only for the medical school, but for our region here in the valley.
Dr. Hawker says the new Cancer Research Center will open in 2025. For KVAQ-TV in Edinburgh, Dathan Treviño.
a former congresswoman and candidate for the 34th Texas District, Mayra Flores, visited the UTRGV Brownsville Campus on Thursday to encourage students to vote. Flores says young voters probably want to leave the decision to the adults, but that should not be the case. One of the main goals Flores is vocal about is bringing economic opportunities to South Texas and helping people accomplish the American dream.
I want you to have that choice, those decisions where you can move, but if you want to stay, you can, and those opportunities are here, and I feel that we lack those economic opportunities. The American dream is dying. It's more difficult for this generation to ever purchase a home. So it was a lot easier for us to purchase a home. The interest rates were very low. The cost of homes was also very low.
Another issue Flores says she will address if elected is border security, saying she wants to improve the legal process for immigrants. Flores says the economic opportunities should be enough to drive voters to the polls on November 5th. Early voting starts October 21st and ends November 1st.
As of October 1st, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has announced 2 cases of the West Nile virus in Hidalgo County. At least with 65 cases reported in Texas and at least 880 cases reported across the U.S.
According to the CDC, 605 out of the 880 cases have been reported as mild to severe, according to Associate Professor of Integrative Biology and Chemical Science, Christopher Vitek. There are over 3,500 mosquito types. He says there are at least 3 that transmit the virus within the valley. Vitek says the West Nile virus is referred to as an enzymatic transmission cycle, meaning it is transmitted from birds such as crows, blue jays, cardinals, and other birds to mosquitoes. Vitek says because the valley is a well-known migratory and bird sanctuary, the virus is a yearly occurrence.
We're probably going to see cases of it appear every single season, every single year. It's what we refer to as sort of an endemic virus. It's always going to be around.
Vitek says he believes it is important to remember and recognize that there is a possibility that the disease is circulating, even when most people do not know they have West Nile.
However, because most people are asymptomatic, that probably means that if we hear about 1 or 2 cases of West Nile virus, there's probably at least another 5 or 6 people that probably have the disease and don't even know it because they're never experiencing any symptoms. So even when we don't hear a lot about it, it's important to remember and recognize that there's the potential that this disease is circulating, and it's just we're not detecting it because of the asymptomatic nature.
Associate Professor of UTRGV School of Medicine, Director of Antibiotic Stewardship for Valley Baptist Medical Center, and infectious disease specialist Jose Campo Maldonado says humans are not the primary target since birds are the ideal host.
The virus enters to our body, we are an incidental host in the normal cycle of the virus, which is usually with birds, right?
Campos says even though it is rare, the symptoms can have long-term conditions reporting from a few weeks up to 8 years.
There are some studies that have shown very high rates of persistent symptoms, not persistent infection, but persistent symptoms after the infection.
As of now, New York State's health department mentions there is no vaccine to prevent the West Nile virus, but people are advised to use mosquito repellent that contains DEET to prevent it. For KVAQ-TV in Edinburgh, Celine Bocanegra. The city of Edinburgh recently released a new ordinance that enforces car wash businesses to be at least 2 miles apart. This comes after drought concerns in the Rio Grande Valley. Cameron County is now working on solutions in compliance with the Regional Drought Contingency Plan to conserve water. Director of Natural Resources in Cameron County, Augusto Sanchez, speaks on how rain in 2 different areas can improve the situation.
The issue with the drought is not only that it doesn't rain locally, but it really has to rain where it matters. And where it matters is upstream of the international water reservoirs that are along the Rio Grande, namely La Amistad and Falcon Dam, because that's where we get most of our water. So if it doesn't rain upstream of those 2 reservoirs and within the watersheds that feed those lakes, I mean, we're still going to be in the same situations.
Sanchez adds that Cameron County is actively working with Hidalgo and Willacy County to develop a watershed assessment to address all water issues, such as water quality, water supply, water for ecosystem restoration, and flooding.
If things are get worse, that's something that is going to have to happen. We have the technology, we have the facilities to do that, but it sometimes is hard for the communities to understand that it's perfectly good water. Measure water quality out of a wastewater treatment plant. It's going to be much better than the water we'll be getting from some of these water reservoirs or from the Rio Grandes.
In the meantime, Cameron County residents are advised to be mindful of their water usage when showering, watering the lawn, or washing a car.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and KVAQ-TV will be sharing resources throughout the month for those in need. To kickstart the month, the Office of Advocacy and Violence Prevention, University Police, and UT Health partnered to create a resource fair to educate students about different services. Community Education Director for the Family Crisis Center, Jacqueline Medrano, says the organization has 2 locations, in Harlingen and in Raymondville, both serving the Cameron and Willacy counties.
Our services include counseling service, legal assistance, legal advocacy, as well as a shelter, 24-hour shelter, and our 24-hour hotline support group. So we're wanting to break the cycle. It's important to speak out to get the assistance that's needed in order for that cycle to end. Nobody should be a victim.
Medrano adds the services are confidential and free. The Family Crisis Center in Harlingen is located at 616 West Taylor Avenue, and the Raymondville Center is located at 192 North 3rd Street. You may contact the Family Crisis Center at 956-423-9305 or 956-689-5150. You can also visit familycrisisctr.org.
October is also the start of breast cancer awareness. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the U.S. has a little over 272,400 new breast cancer cases were reported in females in 2021, and roughly 42,200 females died from breast cancer in 2022.
UT Health RGV has Women Health Service, which provides annual exams, gynecology, oncology, pregnancy care, family planning, and more.
According to the American Cancer Society, women between ages of 40 to 44 are advised to have breast cancer screenings.
Women between 45 to 54 are also advised to have mammograms every year, and women 55 and older are recommended to have a yearly screening or a screening every 2 years.
For more information on the resources the UT Health provides, visit uthealthrgv.org.
UTRGV not only provides counseling service on site, but also just a button away, anytime, anywhere. Timely Care is a phone app that lets UTRGV students get in contact with counselors with just a phone call or a text message. Director of Counseling Services, Christopher Albert, tells us what the app offers.
Timely Care is 24/7, so a student can utilize those services, which includes making an appointment with a licensed mental health counselor any day, any time of the day, even in the middle of the night. It's possible.
Albert adds that the app has counselors in 50 states with an additional feature called Talk Now. Talk Now allows anyone to get connected to a mental health professional in less than 7 minutes.
UTRGV women's swimming and diving team is getting ready to splash up the week for its first ever meet this Saturday. Desiree Villanueva has a story.
They're going to see, some fantastic diving.
The UTRGV women's swimming and diving team is making waves.
We're going to see some standout swims from a few of the swimmers.
It takes hours of practice before the sun even rises, and all over again at noon. Sophomore swimmer A.J. Rogers speaks on paving the path for future UTRGV women's swimming and diving teams.
I'm really excited. I feel like it's such a cool experience to be a part of a team that's, we're the first here, right? We get to make this team to be what we want it to be, and we get to set a legacy.
Rogers says she hopes to see more women in swimming and more schools in the valley with swim and dive teams. She adds what the team is focusing on during practice.
I think it's putting in the work right now. Right now we're working really hard, working on our form, working on getting faster, working on becoming a team and kind of striving to do those things so we can reach our goals.
Diving coach Jennifer Mangum speaks on what the fans can expect to see at their first dual match meet.
Well, hopefully you'll see some fast swimming and some pretty spectacular diving. We've been working on trying to add some degree of difficulty and do some pretty fancy dives, some very difficult dives, but very elegant.
Rogers tells us she looks forward to seeing fans at their first meet after long weeks of practice.
When I was looking for schools my freshman year, I was like, man, there's really not much in this area. So I think for a lot of swimmers around here, it's going to be really amazing for them to be able to come and watch college swimming in their area. And I think fans are going to love that.
The UTRGV women's swimming and diving team take the pool for the first time at 11 a.m. Saturday, October 12 in the FAR PSGA Natatorium. For KVAQ-TV in Edinburgh, Desiree Villanueva.
That's all for our newscast.
Make sure to watch us Monday through Friday on VCast monitors and on social media.
For KVAQ-TV, I'm Fernanda Gonzalez.
And I'm Celine Bocanegra.
Visa up.